In this video, we're going to unlock the true power of NixOS by using Flakes and getting true repeatability in our builds. When most people talk about NixOS Flakes, they're typically referring to using Flakes to manage your system configuration and locking it to specific versions of things. And that's what we're going to take a look at here today. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to take a look at a very basic flake. This is technically a flake, even though it doesn't do anything. You've got your description, which is optional but recommended, inputs and outputs. Now, in the context of doing our configuration, what we need to specify in inputs is nix packages.url, and then we're going to point it to github:/NixOS, which is the user, nix packages, which is the repo, and NixOS 23.11, which is the tag. And then in the outputs, we're going to be doing one of these. We'll be pulling in self, which is basically the flake pulling in itself so you can reference things within it. Nix packages, which we defined up here and we're going to need to use. And ... for everything else. Now, the first thing we have to do in here is specify a NixOS configurations, and then dot the name of the host name of your system. In my case, we're going to be working on a system named 1, so we're going to call this 1. And then equals nix packages.lib.nixOS system. And now in here we need to specify the system, which is our architecture type and our OS type, so x86_64-Linux in my case, but that can be a number of different things. And now modules. In the context of a NixOS flake that we're using this way, your module is going to generally be your configuration.nix. Now you have to use this, we have to copy it into the same folder as our configuration.nix. Some people like to make a folder in their home directory to do it. I like to put it right into etc/NixOS, where the configuration lives by default anyway. And then we save it. So right here, we now have a working flake. This is all you need to get started using flakes on your system. In the flake anyway. We also need to add a couple lines to our configuration.nix, or sorry, one line to our configuration.nix, which is right here. We need to add this to your configuration.nix. Nix settings experimental features equals, and then nix command and flakes, so that we can use those. And you have to rebuild your system once before you use your flake to enable these features first. I've already done that, so now what we can do a NixOS rebuild switch -- flake dot, and then you would specify the name of your system. The name here needs to match what's in here. If you have that matching your host name, you don't actually need to specify that, so you can just leave a dot. You don't actually need the dot in all cases, but I find sometimes it actually does nothing if you don't put the dot there, so it doesn't hurt. There we go. Now what that will have done is we didn't actually make any changes to our configuration, so nothing really major happened there. But it created a new file called a flake.lock. And what this file does is this references the exact version of the Git that you pulled. So yes, we pulled NixOS, Nix packages, and NixOS 23.11 tag, but it'll put the exact commit, which is the revision, as well as the hash for that to make sure that nothing's changed. That way, anytime we make changes to our system, unless we update our lock file, we're going to be pulling from the exact same versions of the Nix packages on GitHub. Where this is really helpful is when you're doing development or deploying many systems, sometimes time will pass between when you set up your system and when you deploy it in production. And if you're using the regular channels method, what ends up happening is you end up pulling the latest stuff from that channel. There's no way to reference the applications from that time period. So things may have changed. People may have pushed new versions to packages. Although they might be stable packages, sometimes there could be unexpected interactions with the versions of stuff you were using. So using the lock file, you transfer your lock file to your new system when you go to deploy it and when you go to do your update and install all your packages. And that way you know that you have exactly the same version of everything you installed on that system as the one you were testing on. Another big advantage of this is you can manage it with Git. So whenever you build your system, you can check your flake.lock into Git and the flake file and your configuration so that you can have them all go together at the same time. So you can always reference a working config. Right now, if you're using generations on channels, if you break your system, you can always roll back to a previous generation that was working. But you can't roll back what your channels, like your channel, if you've updated it, it's updated now. It's on the current version. And your configuration.nix will also be the broken one that you just used. This way you kind of bundle all of that together in one place so you can save it, you can transfer it, and you can version it to manage yourself very easily. So let's take a look at doing that in practice. Let's transfer over our flake.star to the system named 2. It's right here, and we'll go so now we have our flake.nix and our configuration.nix in there and our flake.lock. So let's start using our flake and lock file on this machine. And it fails because the name is different. So what we can do is just put pound and then the 1, because that is the name that we used in our system here for now. And we'll just see what happens. There we go. Now, since this has never used Flakes before, it has to pull all that down from the GitHub and the cache servers. And there we go. Now this system is using the exact same version of all the packages as this system because it's referencing our flake.lock, which you can see is the same as this one. It's the same revision and the hash that calculated on it is the same. Now let's look at another example of a NixOS flake that's a little bit more complicated. But if you wanted to use packages from multiple sources, for example, like be it using the stable and the unstable, or say you have a custom package repository that you or your organization uses with private stuff on it, you can still use multiple sources by specifying them in the inputs and adding what's called an overlay. So for simplicity's sake, we're just going to use the unstable packages. So we add nix-packages unstable. This right here can be any name you want. Whatever you call it here is just how you're going to reference it later. And then we point it the same as before, but instead of pointing it at 23.11, we're going to point it at the unstable repo. And then in the outputs, you have to add nix-packages-unstable, exactly as you have up here. And now, how do we actually call them in our configuration and get to them? We have to do one more thing. And this gets to be a little, it's visually a lot. It is a very big line. I'm just going to copy and paste it rather than type it out. We have to add what's called an overlay. And actually, sorry, I forgot one part. This is how we add an overlay. We define packages again so we can pull it in, and then we have to reference Nix packages, and we're saying we're overlaying self-super. Self-super is basically saying we're superimposing something on ourself. And then unstable, this is what we're going to call it in our Nix configuration file. We're going to be referencing that repo we pulled in up here that we named Nix packages-unstable, and we have to specify a system for that as well. And then of course there's going to be a whole bunch of brackets and braces and semicolons all at the end here. I tend to keep this all on one line because it can make your Nix flake very long. Some people don't like one-liners, but this is all just doing one thing, so I like to keep it on one line so it's out of your way. It's not something you're going to be typing very often. You're just going to most likely be copying and pasting it from some reference material. And all of these templates will be available on my GitHub, which I'll link in the description, so you don't have to type it either. You can just go to my GitHub and copy and paste the lines you want. So now when we save this, first let's do a flake update, Nix flake update, and it's going to pull in all of the new packages. And it's going to take a while because it is pulling it in from this one that we specified in our inputs. It's not just verifying the hash on this one anymore. There we go. And now if we want to do a NixOS rebuild, go right ahead. And it'll go fairly quickly. Nothing's actually changing here. So our flake is working, but now let's say we want to add an unstable package, and I'm going to go down to packages, and I'm going to change, we have Go installed here. I'm going to change that to unstable Go, so we can use the latest version of Go. Right now we have Go 1.21.9. So let's save that and do a rebuild again. And there we go. Now we're running Go from the unstable packages, which is 1.22.2. So now that we're running multiple sources of inputs in our Nix flake, it's possible that you might want to update one, but not the other. For instance, if you're running Nix packages off of stable, you might want to keep that locked on the version you have, and only make changes to the unstable, or if you're running a custom repo, you might want to just update what's in your custom repo because you've made some changes. So how do we do that? Well, what we do is we go nix flake.lock update input, nix flake.lock update input, and then we take the name of our input and we update it. And there was no changes because we only did this a few minutes ago, but that would have updated this file and this. It would have changed your revision and your hash, but since there was nothing to change there, it didn't actually change anything. So just keep that in mind. You can update your sources individually. You just got to remember nix flake.lock update input, and then the input you want updated. In this video, we covered the basics of using NixOS Flakes to configure your system and create repeatable builds. There's a lot more that Nix Flakes can do, but they'll be covered in another video. Thank you for watching.